All right, we're gonna talk about some more silly things that people say. There's just so many comments on the internet that are just like, have people like never seen a horse in real life? Never? Like, I don't know. I mean, they say it too walking by us, but to me, it's just sad. It's like, you know those movies that like, it's like this dystopian nightmare where it's like the civilization has advanced so far that people are actually so stupid because like computers are doing everything for them. There's like so many movies like that. I don't even need to give you an example. And it's like society has just become like so dumb. They don't even know basic things, basic common sense. That's what everyone sounds like to me when it comes to horses. Or at least, I mean, living in an urban environment around horses, because people are just not used to being around them anymore. You know, it used to just be common sense to understand like the basic body language of a horse and a horse's basic needs and everything, because people relied on horses. So it was like the way you might know how to fill up gas in your car or something basic to get around or something. It was like you knew how to like basically feed a horse and, you know, give it like general stuff. You know, that was common knowledge. And little by little, when people weren't relying on horses, you know, they became so detached from them, they don't even understand that like a resting happy horse is not a sad, like abused horse. Like very, very basic things. And I find that very sad. I think that, you know, it sounds ridiculous, but it's just like, now you have those people like in power, in positions of power, like making political decisions about how horses are going to be cared for, that's actually going to destroy them. You have people that are like, oh, you know, horses they shouldn't be used as entertainment. Okay, so if they're not against pet ownership, you know, owning cats and dogs and things like that, because that's entertaining you, you know, then they're complete hypocrites. There is no way around it. But when you start talking like that and thinking like that, it actually becomes really dangerous for horses, because long term, if everyone starts thinking that way, it will lead to the extinction of the species. Now, if you're against that, you know, horses were ever domesticated 6,000 years ago, in my opinion, we owe it to horses to now do the right thing by them. And we have the responsibility to take good care of them and make sure that their species can continue to exist. It isn't right to be like, you can't exist anymore because there's no purpose for you anymore. We have to go and find purpose for these animals. We can't just give up on them and be like, push them away where no one can see them, no one has to worry about it, no one uses them anymore, and then they don't exist anymore. And this doesn't only apply to horses, but this is my topic. So it's just like really sad when people don't realize like they're actually doing things that are going to hurt the species. And you can't go back in time now. Like, how can you just say to the thousands of horses out there, like, we're just going to kill our entire ecosystem and just be like, oh, hey, thanks for all the work. Thanks for building all our cities and carrying us around and bringing our stuff. Now just screw you. Don't care. You have to go be sentenced to like live in some field with no care and no human contact, even though that's what you enjoy and what you need to thrive. Yeah, horses can survive, but if you look at the lifespan of a horse that's wild, you know, a feral horse, it's like a quarter or half of the length of time that a horse would live in captivity, a domesticated horse, a domesticated animal like a horse being cared for. And part of that care includes some type of work. The perfect model to work a horse is where the work that you do with that horse in partnership with that horse earns a profit to cover the cost of that care. Otherwise, you have to pay someone else to work that horse while you're off at work earning money for yourself. This perfect plan, perfect situation is where you and the horse are earning your money together, doing your thing. You're caring for your horse. While you're caring for your horse, you're earning money. And that money is paying for that horse's care. It's just like, it's just so sensible. And yet people complain about, oh, you do it for a profit, this is entertainment. Those are good things. Those are things that make sense in the horse world. Maybe it doesn't apply to every animal. Maybe it doesn't always apply to animals that are not domesticated, but these are domesticated animals. Like dogs and cats and things. Do you say set all the cats and dogs free? No, of course not. That's ridiculous. That's what you sound like when you say that we should set our horses free. Where's free? Where? Who is going to care for them? Who is going to pay for their hay? Who has this land? Where is this land for thousands of horses? Why are there so many thousands and thousands of horses without homes, without care, all over the place? And you're looking at our 200 plus horses and saying that like they shouldn't have homes and care? That like there's somewhere else for them? If there is another place for one of these horses, let them take one of those horses that don't have a home right now. And I hate when they're like, I'm a voice for the voiceless. Yeah, maybe my horse doesn't have a voice, he didn't speak English, he didn't speak your language, but if you take the time, you can learn his language, their body language, their facial expressions, the way that they act, even in their health, in their coat and all of that. They have no problem communicating for themselves and expressing what they need, what they feel like. They are telling us all the time, and you are misreading them because you've never taken the time to actually learn their language. Yeah, you don't need to have a voice to speak. Do you say that about, deaf, mute people too, or what? Like, no, like you can still understand people. I speak to people that do not speak English all the time, and we understand each other. A lot of our stablemen are immigrants, and they mostly speak Spanish. Honestly, I should learn more Spanish. I don't really know much Spanish. I'll be speaking at him in English, he'll be speaking to me in Spanish, and we understand each other perfectly because in the context and pointing and using hands and all of that, you can understand each other. So it is the same with a horse. And people walking by here thinking that my horse is sad, or he's tired, or he's overworked, or he's unhappy, or he doesn't want to do this, or whatever the heck they think, he's scared, or he's what. All these crazy things I say, it's always the opposite. I've never had someone properly read my horse, unless they're a horse person who works around horses, who understands how to read them. And you know what? They're like, hey, these horses are great. These horses are fine. They're happy. Like, it's just like so frustrating to be around this all the time. And, Scout here, he wants to be with me. He wants to do this. And it's not right for you to speak for him. Let him speak for himself and let him tell you that. He doesn't want to be taken away from me. He wants to hang out here with me. He wants to be doing this. And when you guys misread our horses and you advocate for things that are actually bad for them, that's bad for the horses. You are actually the true animal abusers if you're going to have to use that label. You are the ones that are not making their lives as good as it could be because you're pushing people in positions of power, political power, to change things in their lives that will actually hurt them, because you don't understand that a horse like this needs work to thrive. Maybe not survive, but to thrive. Why would you not want them to do their best? If you look at it statistically and you don't nitpick little things, that isolated incidents that you find here and there, there's no issues with where or how our horses operate with all the regulations they're under. You can pick at a couple of little incidents here and there. What does that have to do with 99% of the time, of 99% of the horses, of 99% of the drivers in this business? You can find bad apples anywhere. We have a great safety record. Why are you attacking us all the time? What is your problem with letting other people and other animals enjoy and do what they want to, and you go do what you want to? You don't have to participate in this. You don't have to have your horse live in the city. You don't have to have your horse pull a carriage. You don't have to have your horse earn a profit. You don't have to have your horse here. You don't have to have your horse have this lifestyle. You don't have to have your horse just vacation on pastures and live in a stable and work to supplement that. You don't have to have your horse that way, but who are you to judge what works for others? In the horse world, there are multiple correct ways to do things for a horse. Maybe not with every single subject, but overall, you can have a bunch of horse people together and that are very experienced professionals, and they're going to start arguing with each other about, well, this is safer, that's healthier, that's healthier. And over time, we learn more things about horses and caring for them when we are caring for them all the time. That's why you always have these new studies come out and we're like, hey, that thing we thought you shouldn't do with a horse, that was a myth. And all these equine veterinarians and scientists and things going into this, if you actually follow that stuff, which I don't think you people do. You people walking by yelling ignorant comments are not following any of these articles. You're looking at the, clickbait animal rights propaganda on there. It has nothing to do with animal welfare, nothing scientific about it, nothing logical there. And you think that you're so great for have read some BS on the internet, and now you're going to yell at some stranger in the street and look at something that you don't know what you're looking at, and you're going to misread my horse, and you're going to tell everybody else that you know, and that that's what it should be, and that's wrong, and that's not right, and that's not good for animals, and that's not good for our horses, and that's not good for anyone. And just mind your own business and let us be. Do your thing and we'll do ours. People want to take a carriage ride, they'll take a carriage ride. You don't have to. I see people complaining that the horses are out in the rain. Well, where else would they be? Then they complain they're in the stable. They shouldn't be in the stable. no matter where our horses are, no matter what they're doing, I hear people complaining about it. These horses are always inside. They're always outside. They should be outside. They shouldn't be inside. They should be... Like, it's endless. It is endless. There's no logic. And some of you, jump onto any little thing you hear and make up your whole opinion about this based on that one little snippet. You don't apply any logic to that thinking. You have a completely uninformed opinion. And, you know, you have horse people out here all the time. All these equestrians working with their horses. You could politely speak to any of us at any time about this, but you choose not to. You just shout animal abuser and walk on by, and everything that you start advocating for my horse is not actually in his best interest. It's not what he wants. It's not what's going to make him happy. And I would know. I'm spending more than half the day of my waking hours with this horse all the time. I'm the one caring for him. And some of the ways that horses express themselves is really subtle. And it takes a little while to learn that language of theirs. But you don't look at someone speaking sign language and say that, you know, you're going to be a voice for the voiceless. That's not right. Because they don't have an issue communicating for themselves. Our horses don't have an issue communicating for themselves. I talk to my horse all the time, and he talks to me all the time. In our languages, we understand each other, and what we do here is partnership. There's nothing that you can say that is going to convince my horse otherwise. And horses also feed off your energy. So if you're stressed out and you're angry and you're scared, your horse is going to read that. You have to calm down, slow down, and relax your horse if you want your horse to be relaxed. So when you want to do the right thing for a horse, you have to make sure you are reading them correctly and you understand them well enough to read them correctly. That goes for driving a horse, caring for a horse, hanging out with a horse, or just judging them when you walk by.